Welcome to the Right Time Podcast. The Right Time with Bomani Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. You can send us a tweet at the 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed. That is at Bomani_Jones. We are going to talk to Josh Jackson next segment, but right now we have got the guy everybody sees as being the number one overall pick in the 2017 NBA draft. He played his ball at the University of Washington. His name is Markelle Fultz. So, Markelle, what's this process been like for you, the draft process?
No, it's been unbelievable, really, just a blessing. Something I've been dreaming of since I was a little kid, and now that it's here, I mean, I'm really speechless, It's unreal.
Well, we talked to Jason Tatum a little bit earlier, and he said that one of the stressful things for him was that, with recruiting, you get to pick where you're going to go. Here, they're making the pick for you. So do you feel any anxiety about not really having any power in that way?
Not really. I mean, I think it's what I'm more willing about is just having the opportunity to play basketball. So that's why I'm happy for. It doesn't really matter where I go, but I'm going to be happy wherever I do go.
All right, we're talking to Markelle Fultz on The Right Time. Now, even with saying that it doesn't matter where you go as long as you play basketball, what did you think when you found out the number one overall pick had been traded?
I mean, I didn't find out till the same day I worked out for Philly. So, like I said, I just went out there, got to go work in, and I was happy. I mean, my goal is to be the number one pick, and to have the opportunity to do that is just a blessing, really. So I'm not pushing for too much. I'm just happy with that.
So are you more concerned with where you got picked or where you wound up?
I think where I got picked because I feel like I'm versatile and I'm a good enough player where I can fit into any team. So it was more of where I got picked.
All right, we are talking to Markelle Fultz on The Right Time. Now, I think a lot of people have pointed to the fact that Washington, while you were there, only won 9 games and asking the question as to how good you could be if the team only won 9 games. How would you respond to people who say that?
Just my mentality as a player. I mean, I came in every day ready to work, and anybody that knows me knows that I put my best foot forward every day, and I did what I had to do to be the best player, not only on the court but off the court, and I pushed my teammates, and it just happened that it didn't work out. And also, if you look at my resume, you can see USA basketball, my high school record, everything like that. So it was just a situation where the team didn't work out. So,
was it difficult for you to handle the losing?
No, not at all. I mean, it was actually one of the best things that ever happened because I grew as a player. I grew as a teammate, just building chemistry with my teammates, just fighting through adversity, not going against each other. So that was always a good thing. And then I learned a lot going through this period of time. So,
all right, we're talking to Markelle Fultz on The Right Time. So why should you be the number one overall pick? If one of these teams asks you, why are you the guy that we should take, what would your answer be?
I believe because I'm a hardworking kid, first of all, and off the court, I'm going to handle myself accordingly. I don't get in any trouble. I'm humble. Then on the court, I'll do whatever you need me to do to win. I think that's the main reason.
All right, we're talking to Markelle Fultz here on The Right Time. Is there anybody you're looking forward to going up against once you get to the NBA?
Can you repeat that?
I said, is there anybody that you're really looking forward going up against once you get to the NBA?
Everybody, man. Really, just this experience just to really test myself. See how talented I really am. It's the best of the best. So every night I come out, it's going to be a good matchup. Kyrie, Westbrook. I mean, all the guard spots is loaded, so I'm looking forward to it.
And you said you want to be the MVP rookie year, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you, not a lot of people got the heart to say that out loud, man.
Yeah, I know. It's a mentality I have. I mean, I know it's a lot of work that I got to do to get there, but I set my goals high and I go get them.
All right, we're talking to Markelle Fultz on The Right Time. Now, with you being presumed by people to be the number one overall pick, we got to ask you, man, what's your suit going to be looking like tomorrow?
Yeah, my suit's going to be all right. I'm going to just let you know it's gray. But me and my mom and my sister helped pick it up. But I think the most part is the shoes. Those are shoes I picked out. They're unique. I think that's going to set it off. It's a one of a kind, so.
Oh, one of a kind. You're going to wear one of them crazy young boy suits, aren't you?
No. No, you'll see. That's all I got to say. Just be ready.
All right. That is Markelle Fultz. A lot of people think he'll be the number one overall pick tomorrow night. Tune in tomorrow on ESPN to find out. Thanks so much for joining us, man, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, now, 888-729-3776. That is our telephone number. Shannon, you didn't know I was going to ask about the suit, but you know I had to ask about the suit, right?
Oh, absolutely. And when we started to wrap up, I was going to get in your ear like, we got to ask about the suit. And you came through with it.
He said it ain't going to be no crazy young boy suit. The problem is he's so young. What I think is young boy, he might not even think it's young.
Seemed prepared for that. Like he was ready for the suit question as much as he was ready for explaining the 9-win season.
Yes,
like, he was ready. Like, oh no, I had this suit picked out. My mom and my sister, we ready. And watch the shoes, unbelievable, one of a kind.
I wonder if he picked out one of them crazy young boy suits, and his mama was like, Markelle, no, can't be that
in front of company.
This is not here. My friends are gonna be watching this. My friends.
But what's amazing about him, and I kind of think back to, like, say, a Michael Olowokandi, where for him to be the number one pick, and I'm just saying about guys who played college here, like, there's still a lot we don't know about him. Like, we didn't see him play a lot. So for a lot of us, we're going to be discovering this guy for the first time once you get in the NBA.
You know what I know about Markelle Fultz? He did a really impressive job avoiding them dodgeballs. Have you seen that on Sports Science where they got him out there with the dodgeball players and he out here doing the whoosh on the dodgeball? That's what I got. Like that, I'm like, let me tell you, man. They start putting dodgeball in NBA games. Yes, I'm taking Markelle Fultz number one. Absolutely, without question. That's the biggest thing there that I know about our good buddy Markelle Fultz. Interesting though, he said he cared more about where he got picked than where he wound up. He's a better man than me. Because I have all kinds of questions for the Sixers, right? Because remember, Nerlens Noel was in on that process, right? Noel got there in 2013, I believe it was. You know, he was injured, but he got there in 2013. By the time it was over, he was like, "Yo, take your process, fold in 5 corners."
Michael Carter-Williams, a rookie of the year.
Yes,
part of the process as well.
Yes,
chucked him the deuce.
By the way, the best thing ever happened to that process is Michael Carter-Williams winning Rookie of the Year because that allowed them to get greater trade value for him, as he was not actually that good. He just had to ball a lot on the team where he could do whatever. And did he have like a triple-double in his first game?
Something like that, yeah.
He was the Brandon Jennings Award winner for that season. Had a ball out of control that one game early, and it just completely molds the way that we view you from then on out. Get instant gold status at Shell. Join the Fuel Rewards program now at fuelrewards.com/gold. I've been trying to think about this draft, man. Like, somebody gonna come out here wearing a ridiculous suit. We got the European dudes, because the European dudes have been coming to us with some surprises. You remember the one dude, I think he got drafted by Sacramento, the dude that was the Greek dude who was up in the crowd with all the black people and was like dapping them up. And I'm like, why have they not made a sitcom about you yet?
Dabbed up the entire section.
Yo, I think he had like one white dude with him that I'm guessing was some kind of kin, but apparently everybody that he met in the United States, and they didn't look like his agents or nothing like that. They looked like some dudes he met at the gym, where he's like, "Hey man, they gave me some seats if you want to come on up here." And his dap game was subtle and nuanced. It had all the intricacies and everything else that came from it. Like, that's what I want to know. Maybe more about them, but somebody gonna come out here wearing some ridiculous get up. And I know who gonna come in there wearing the ridiculous get up. Either De'Aaron Fox or Malik Monk. De'Aaron Fox, H-Town good to come on with a big old medallion with that suit. And Shannon, you know where Malik Monk from?
What's up?
I don't know the town, but I'm pretty sure the state is Arkansas.
Oh
yeah. There's all kinds of possibilities. Worst thing ever happened to this draft, man, is stylists. Stylists is the worst thing that ever happened, man. You need to go back to the 90s and them cats are picking their own suits. Because, like, here's one thing. You can tell a lot about, like, where people have come from and what they've been around. Not with judgment, right? But you can tell a lot by the suits they wear. And a lot of these cats, man, it's their first suit, right? So they go out there, like Jalen Rose went out there and got that red suit, fire engine red out there, right? You want to go, why? He from Detroit. Detroit wears red suits. Now these cats got stylists, and all the fun is taken out of it. All right, 888-729-3776. That's our telephone number. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Josh Jackson of the University of Kansas, find out where he thinks he's going to land in the NBA draft. You're listening to ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM, Channel 80.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. Thanks to Markelle Fultz for joining us last segment. Up next, you may have seen him playing at the University of Kansas. We expect him to go off the board pretty high tomorrow night in the 2017 NBA Draft. His name is Josh Jackson. Now, Josh, we got to ask you this because we asked Markelle Fultz the same question. What's your suit game going to be looking like tomorrow night?
I can't tell y'all that.
Oh, you could tell us something, man.
No, I can't tell y'all that yet.
You could give us a hint. You got to understand, man, given that you are from Detroit, we're just trying to make sure you're not going to come out here in no fire engine red suit like our man Jay.
Nah, it'll be a little bit of color, not too much going on, but it'll definitely be something nice.
Look, man, anytime somebody says a little bit of color, they mean a lot of color. You ain't got a lot of us. All right, we are talking to Josh Jackson here on The Right Time. So I think a lot of people are asking the question, why did you not work out for the Boston Celtics?
Oh, man, I've been answering this question all day. But when the Celtics had the number one pick, me and my agent, we talked, and from what it sounded like, there was really not much interest in drafting me number one overall. So we both felt like it would be just a waste of our time and their time for me to go and, work out for them when they're actually not considering drafting me. But after they got the number 3 pick, we tried to schedule a workout, but just with the time and everything, it was just too late to, try to make a trip out there and do a quick workout for them.
I'm curious about that process in deciding who you will or won't work out with, because you don't get to decide where you're drafted, but you do decide where you want to work out. So were you guys really careful about deciding where you wanted to go to work out?
Yeah, we were. I worked out for L.A., Phoenix, Philadelphia, and also Sacramento. So we thought it over pretty well, I think.
All right, we are talking to Josh Jackson on The Right Time. Now, is there any place in particular that you went to and said to yourself, yeah, this is the place I'd want to wind up?
Say it one more time.
Was there any place that you worked out and after you were done and talking to the people, you really felt to yourself like this is the place I'd like to wind up?
I felt like Philadelphia would have been a good place for me. Felt the same thing in L.A., Phoenix as well. With the teams at the top of the draft right now, I really wouldn't have a problem going to either one of them. I think they're all, really good programs, organizations, and got a lot of promise in the next few years.
All right, we are talking to Josh Jackson here on The Right Time. So if any of those teams sat down with you and said, what is the biggest reason that we should take you, what would your answer be?
My answer would be just because of my mentality. I don't really think any other player in this draft, has my mentality, has my competitive drive. It's just something that you can't measure at all. I come out on top of every situation, no matter what you put in front of me. I'm going to come out on top.
Have you always been like that, or is that something you developed as you got farther along in competitive sports?
Always, since I was a kid. Since I was 5 or 6 years old, I've always been like that.
So you're the dude that nobody else wants to play with because you want to win way more than everybody else?
Yeah.
Is that with everything or just basketball?
Oh, no, it's with everything. It's with chess, checkers, video games, whatever, ping pong.
Well, how do you play intense chess? Like, now I'm curious about that. Like, how could you be the super intense chess player?
You just got to think real hard. I mean, you got to think a few moves ahead of the game, and it's a really strategic game, kind of just like basketball in some ways, but you just got to think.
All right, we are talking to Josh Jackson here on The Right Time. How did teams handle it with you in their meetings and interviews with the incident that happened with you and your girlfriend while you were at Kansas?
Clarification, that was not my girlfriend.
All right, excuse me.
And, a lot of people on the outside looking in who don't really know, you just read stuff on the internet. The whole situation was really blown out of proportion. The only thing that I was responsible for was kicking a car one time, and that was it. And just because it's my name and I am who I am, of course they're going to try to make the biggest story they can about it. But all the teams who I've talked to and interviewed, they know exactly what happened that night. They know exactly how it went. And it was just honestly blown out of proportion.
Well, what did you have to say to them to assure them that you would not be a problem?
Just that, I made a mistake that night. And, I was a kid and I did something that I shouldn't have, and I learned from it. Such a simple mistake, got blown up so much, and even though I thought nothing of it, just because I am who I am, it was something, and I learned a valuable lesson from that.
All right, Josh Jackson of the University of Kansas is joining us here on The Right Time. Now, who in the NBA would you say that you model your game after?
I wouldn't say that I model my game after any one player, but, I do watch a lot of NBA basketball, past and present. I'll go back and watch a couple hardwood classics, and I'll take stuff from, Jordan, Hakeem a little bit in the post. I take stuff from LeBron still, KD. I just try to take something from everybody. I think you can learn from each and every player that's playing today because there's so many great players, past and present.
Well, if there's one thing in your game that you felt like you needed to get up to another level to be ready for the NBA, what would that be?
I think it'd be my ball handling probably and shooting off the dribble. I think I'm a pretty good catch and shoot guy, but shooting off the dribble is kind of where I struggle a little bit. But, I've been working on it since the season ended at Kansas, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better.
All right, Josh Jackson of Kansas, one last question for you before we go. What color is the suit going to be, man?
It's going to be maroon.
All right, see. I knew you was going to give us one of the Detroit colors. Merlot, maroon, closing up. That's Josh Jackson, my man. Best of luck to you, and good luck tomorrow night.
All right, thank you.
All right, now, 888-729-3776. That's our telephone number, Shannon. I told you you're going to be wearing a suit, one of them colors.
Absolutely. We weren't going to get a gray or a blue from him.
No. The homie's got to be here for that one. All right, on the phone line is our man, DJ Mike Hitman. Mike, what's going on?
Hey, Paul, let me give you some of these guys. Can I give some guys a 5-minute quick
Go ahead.
Dressing. Number one, I know y'all got a young girlfriend. Don't let your woman dress. You're going to always find another woman. That ain't going to be the only one. Don't let her have you going out there looking like a nut. Like LeBron James wore that white suit. Looked like he was going to a wedding, but it wasn't a wedding. Jalen Rose wearing a red suit. In Detroit, it's only two colors, red and pink. That young guy going to wear a pink suit. There's only two colors they got in Detroit, red and pink. That's all they know, red and pink. And if your mama dress you, not no checker. Not no TTL is showing your stomach. Come on, fellas. You want some real dresses? Go on to Chicago. Look at how we dress, how real men dress. We be fly. You ain't got to come with a fur coat. Just look presentable. Don't look like no nut. I know y'all might be in love with your girlfriend, but let me give you one good advice. She ain't going to be the only one. Remember that. She's not going to be the only one. So don't let them dress you. Dress yourself. Go look at a crayon book. It's 64 colors. Pick out the best color you can wear. Have a good one, Bo.
All right, Mike. 888-729-3776. That is our telephone number.
All right, we need to make this happen by the next draft, whether it's NFL or NBA. We got to get Mike Hitman to style one of these players.
How do we make this happen? How do we get somebody like Mike Hitman take them to the store and go pick out their suits for them? I personally would love, because you got to understand, man, Mike got a suit on pretty much every day. Mike does not own a pair of tennis shoes. Mike is not here for that. You got to know how to dress. You going to kick it with Mike Hitman. Mike Hitman saw me on TV once in a T-shirt. He was irate with me. Furious. Furious, I tell you, furious. All right, 888-729-3776. That is our telephone number. Coming up next, the Clippers might be looking to trade DeAndre Jordan. Does that mean Chris Paul will be leaving L.A.? You're listening to ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and SiriusXM Channel 80. We've been talking a lot about Upside.com, telling you it will save you or your company big on business travel and that you'll get a big gift card every trip you buy. Sounds too good to be true, right? Go to Upside.com and check it out. Super fast searches, by the way. For instance, in less than 2 minutes, you could have a few awesome choices on American Airlines flights to Chicago at the end of next month that work for you and a bunch of big-name hotels. Your options could get you a $268 gift card and save your company $268. Taking a business trip? You'd be crazy not to use Upside. Spend less of your company's money and get more rewards for yourself. Upside's the real deal. You may wind up with a $268 gift card. Trust me, go to Upside.com today. Plus, when you use promo code Bomani, you're guaranteed to get at least a $100 Amazon gift card your first trip. That's code Bomani to get a $100 gift card free. Save big on travel, get a big gift card, great customer service every trip. See what your next trips were today. Upside.com. That's Upside.com. Minimum purchase required. See site for complete details.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. All guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Thanks to Josh Jackson for joining us the last segment. We got Jay Williams joining us in the 6 o'clock Eastern hour. 888-729-3776. That is our telephone number. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Now, you can test drive Snapshot even if you have insurance with another company. See how much you can save before you switch. So, the homie League Sources has hollered at ESPN. You know League Sources.
My sources.
That's right. The homie League Sources is saying that the Clippers have bounced around the idea of maybe trading DeAndre Jordan. I almost said D'Angelo Jordan. That's not him. DeAndre Jordan, trading him for the number 4 pick that Phoenix has. And I found that one to be interesting because, all right, what are the Clippers doing, right? The Clippers have Chris Paul and Blake Griffin out on free agency. I think most of us operated under the assumption that Chris Paul would come back to the Clippers, but Chris Paul's 32 years old. And at 32, if Chris Paul is trying to win, then the Clippers would need to demonstrate pretty clearly what their plan is to win while he's still good, right? Nothing in the plan to be good could involve trading DeAndre Jordan for the number 4 overall pick, because I don't think any of us expect the guy who would be the number 4 overall pick to really be ready to contribute to a team that you hope to be a championship contender. Like, the Clippers need to get better, right? They're not in a place where Boston is. They can be like, yeah, we'll put a young guy in here and figure it out from there. Like, the Clippers aren't there where they are in their conference. I don't think they have that luxury, right? They're capped out. So you trade DeAndre Jordan. It's not like all of a sudden you're getting some space where you can go get somebody else. We're hearing Blake Griffin maybe goes to the Celtics. We're hearing Chris Paul maybe goes to the Spurs. We're also hearing that the Rockets are trying to get themselves in a situation where they might be willing to trade Patrick Beverley, Ryan Anderson, just trying to clear some space so they can sign a free agent when this comes up. But if the Clippers were to do this, it would have to signal that they're not going to re-sign Chris Paul and not going to re-sign Blake Griffin, right? Because for all the weaknesses that DeAndre Jordan has in his game, we know what he provides, and he does provide a lot, right? He does provide a lot. So if you get him out of there, what are we talking about? Like, what team is left there for the Clippers? And if you're Chris Paul, how do you sign up there knowing that there's not that much coming? Because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Shannon, even if they get DeAndre Jordan out of there, they're still capped out, right?
They don't have a lot of guys on the contract, but they still have guys that are taking up cap space. I mean, Jamal Crawford is going to be making $14 million. Austin Rivers, $12 million a year. A guy like Wesley Johnson, although it's a mid-level exemption, it's still $6 million. So, and DeAndre right now is about $24 million.
Wow, Wes Johnson still in the league?
Yep.
Oh,
getting that mid-level exception.
Ain't that something? Number 3 overall pick, Wes Johnson, still in the league. No, man, like, I really do feel like that sort of thing would be a signal. The idea they're even considering it, I think, will qualify as being a signal that it might be time for them to go ahead and start that thing over. The thing about them trying to start the thing over is, one, we're hearing that they hired Jerry West as a consultant in part to try to bring LeBron James on. Like, do we believe that the Clippers have the foresight to already be beginning their LeBron James plan? Like, do we believe that they have the foresight to do that, right? If you're talking about getting LeBron James, I mean, I guess maybe you need to have Chris Paul already there, right? You know, that's his homie. Maybe that would be the situation. Like, I just don't have a great answer for what it is that they're going to be doing, but I feel like their whole thing is going to hinge on what happens in free agency. And if one of those guys doesn't come back, whether it's Paul or Blake, if one of them doesn't come back, this window is closed. Like, they had their chance, and it went away when they had that 3-1 lead to the Rockets. Now, granted, I don't know what was going to happen if that team played, they went up against the Warriors, because the Warriors have been smoking them repeatedly for God knows what, the last 3 years. They've just been beating the brakes off of them. But that was as close as I thought they had as their chance to really have that window. What's it now? Like, what does it become now? All right, 888-729-3776. Hit the phones on to Robert in D.C. Robert, thanks for calling the right time.
How you doing, Bomani?
Doing all right?
First-time caller. I had a question for you. Everyone always talking about we want to win, but you never hear about free agents talking about they want to go to San Antonio. They do nothing but win.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's that simple, right? Like, LaMarcus Aldridge just went and signed the deal for San Antonio. San Antonio has also not really been a big player in free agency in that way. The other thing is that if you are in your mid-20s and rich, there are much better places to be in your mid-20s and rich than San Antonio. Like, that'll do it, Robert. I appreciate the call. No. People ain't really trying to set fire to the best years of their life going to San Antonio. Spurs been lucky. They got a couple of them weirdo-type stars, right? Tim Duncan and Kawhi Leonard. They're like, yes, I like it here. It's very quiet. Ain't everybody looking for quiet. That's not what it is. Now, what San Antonio is, though, is attractive to, like, older guys who are looking to make one last run, which Texas doesn't have a state income tax. Like, that's a little bit of a different situation you got there. But let's see what happens with Chris Paul. Chris Paul played in little chilling circuit cities and loved it. He loved New Orleans. He loved Oklahoma City. You know, he really doesn't seem to have a problem going to places that I personally would prefer not to live.
To your question, though, with the rebuilding with the Clippers, can they afford to rebuild now? Just looking at everything that they've changed, new ownership with Ballmer, new stadium coming, new practice facilities, the whole nine. They've redone the entire Clipper brand over the last 3 years. Can they afford to go through this? Because you know the Lakers are coming.
Well, it doesn't even matter that the Lakers are coming. The Clippers are just something else to do in Los Angeles, right? See, here's what I think the biggest problem the Clippers have in L.A. that hasn't been discussed enough. They don't have a part of town. Right, so like when you look at teams where you have multiple teams in one sport in one city, typically everybody's got their part of town, right? Like the Yankees, Correct me if I'm wrong, that's more like Manhattan, Bronx. The Mets, you're talking about Queens, Brooklyn, Long Island, like over there, right? Baseball, Cubs, North Side, South Side for the White Sox. Like everybody has their part of town. Baseball, the Dodgers got City of L.A., the Angels are Orange County's team. The Clippers are just another team in Los Angeles, right? Like Los Angeles belongs to the Lakers, and the Clippers are just there. So to me, the question is, if they're talking about building this arena in Inglewood, I feel like you need to be good when you're moving into it to get people to show up. Like, that's what I think is probably going to be the best situation for them. So do you worry about being good right now? Because if you don't rebuild right now, because that's where we started with the question about can they afford to rebuild. If they don't rebuild right now, then what are they going to be when they move into the new stuff? And I think it'd probably be more important to be good when you move into the new stuff than it is to be good right now.
I think the hardest part to think about is that this has been the best run for the Clippers.
Not even close.
In their franchise history. This has been the best span for them. And to say it's all gone already, that just seems a bit tough. I know organizations don't think like that, but this is their best stretch.
But you know what, though? They've done it for, 5 years? Like, they've had a good 5-year run. But if this isn't going to get it done, and look, again, this decision may wind up being out of their hands where you say, can they afford to rebuild? Well, Chris Paul can make the decision for them whether or not they're going to rebuild. And if it's that, then it's just going to be that. All right, 888-729-3776. That's our telephone number. Right fast to talk to Calvin in Georgia. Calvin, thanks for calling the right time.
Hey, this is Cullen Bowe. I want to thank you, first of all, for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to know, as far as the Cavs are concerned, what do you think about, instead of looking in other places, maybe hit Paul Millsap? Because now the Hawks look like they're having a fire sale. Just want to know what you thought about it.
Well, I appreciate the call, and I think the idea of getting Paul Millsap, well, for one, they got too many power forwards. I mean, they have too many guys that play his position already. The other thing is the Cavs can't sign anybody. Like, if they're going to bring him in, it's got to be on a trade because of their cap situation. All right, now, 888-729-3776. That's our telephone number. Coming up next, we got your phone calls, and also, is D'Angelo Russell the pawn in the plan to bring LeBron to the Lakers? You're listening to ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. All guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Jay Williams will join us next segment. Jay Williams of ESPN will join us at 6 o'clock Eastern. 888-729-3776. That is our telephone number. So we put up a poll on the ESPN Radio Twitter account, that is at ESPN Radio, asking a very simple question that I believe has a very simple answer. Is Dwight Howard a Hall of Famer? Shannon, what are they saying?
Alrighty, right now we have over 2,000 votes, and 58% say no, he is not a Hall of Famer.
That means my audience is a bunch of haters. Because Dwight Howard is a no-brainer Hall of Famer. Like, we just put this up to see how many people would be willing to say, no, Dwight Howard is not a Hall of Famer. The answer is haters exist in every walk of life. All right, 888-729-3776. Talk to Devin in Richmond. Devin, thanks for calling the right time.
Hey, shout out to you and Shannon. Y'all do a great job. Love to hear y'all daily. Appreciate it. I got two things. It's funny that y'all had this debate. I was talking to this guy today I was working with, and he was like, hell no, this older guy talking about, hell no, there's no way he's a Hall of Famer. And I'm like, what do you mean? I said, what about Dikembe Mutombo? Would you put him in the Hall of Fame? And he was like, yeah, Dikembe was a game changer. I was like, Dikembe averaged 9.9-something points a game and 10 rebounds and 3 blocks. Dwight averages 17, 12, and probably 2 or 3 blocks a game. Like, how could you even not respect the fact that he played in Orlando for 8 years? 5 of them he went 82 games and took them to the finals, and they really didn't have much.
No, it blows my mind, and I appreciate the call, man. It blows my mind how hard people go at it with Dwight on this. Just completely blows my mind because it's all there. He's obviously a Hall of Famer. Remember this, man. He got to the finals before LeBron, and Cleveland went and got Shaq that year because you could not see yourself winning the East unless you had somebody who could guard Dwight Howard by themselves. That was it. People were like, man, it was Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis. Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis are handling business in large part because there was nobody that could guard Dwight Howard one-on-one. Then a couple years later, his back went out. All right, 888-729-3776. That is our telephone number. So we told you yesterday that D'Angelo Russell wound up getting the boot from L.A., and your friendly reminder that while many of you may not value Byron Scott's opinion, Magic Johnson probably does. Like, you don't think that was involved at all in this decision? Like, I imagine that Magic went to Larry Byron, so what's the deal about this kid? Man, let me tell you, these young boys don't want to do nothing these days. The Magic's like, yeah, man, we can't have them young boys in here acting like this, and then next thing you know, D'Angelo Russell had to get up out of there. At least he's going to Brooklyn, though. Like, it's not a bad place for him ultimately to end up. But what the Lakers got in that trade was Brook Lopez, and Brook Lopez's contract expires at the end of the upcoming season, which means that Brook Lopez turns into cap space, which means, are the Lakers already getting ready for next year's free agency? Because don't forget, Russell Westbrook is a free agent next year. I feel like there's another big name that I'm forgetting that's going to be a free agent, like other than LeBron James. I guess Paul George would be out there too. There's one more, though, I'm forgetting. Like, this could be a big free agent year.
Potential free agents next year include LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook, DeMarcus Cousins, and Paul George and Isaiah Thomas, to name a few.
Yeah, like, there's a lot that's going to be going on there. The Lakers, I think, will be in an attractive position to get guys to show up there, even if for no other reason than talking to Magic is a whole lot different than talking to Jim Buss, right? So the Lakers seem to be clearing the deck and getting ready to make a big move at that point. And look, you got the number 2 pick. You're not stuck with D'Angelo Russell. You're not. You might as well do something that puts you in a position where you might be able to make a big move, because I just don't believe for a second that Magic is going to just let the Lakers be sorry without making a big move in the first couple of years, right? Like, everybody's like, oh, man, the Lakers need to rebuild. How long do the Lakers need to rebuild? Like, when rebuilds are long and painful. Haven't they been they've been rebuilding for the better part of the last 4 years? The problem was so much of that rebuilding took place with your mans. All right? Like, that's the thing we're talking about here, right? Is that they had a couple of years of rebuild that didn't feel like rebuild because Kobe was on the team, even if Kobe was hurt a significant portion of the time. But look, they drafted Ingram. They drafted Randall. They drafted Russell. They're going to have another guy coming in this year. How many young dudes are they supposed to keep? All right, like, how many young guys are they supposed to have? They also already have Jordan Clarkson, right? Like, how many young dudes are they supposed to build this thing around? And so, yeah, man, D'Angelo Russell, thanks for stopping by the booth, right? We'll take a guy who might be good for us this year, and if it's not, then we get rid of him at the end of the year, and Magic's like, no, we're going to get some players. I can't imagine how confident Magic is in his ability to get somebody to show up.
We had a caller earlier mention there have been talks of Paul George and the Lakers' interest, but why haven't we heard about, say, a Jimmy Butler with the in a connection with the Lakers? Like I know the Lakers have some space now. They have the young guys. Why not make more moves this year? Why wait to next year?
Well, let's not forget Jimmy Butler's not going to be a free agent, right? So are you sure that if you go for Jimmy Butler, that Jimmy Butler's going to stay? Like, that's the reason we talk about Paul George is like, I want to go there. It's like, so we're going to get his name a lot more. I guess Jimmy Butler wouldn't be a bad guy for them to have, but I don't think you make that kind of trade right now to get Jimmy Butler. Because look, it's going to take a lot. They're just not going to be able to get that one, I think, that easily. Paul George, I think you feel like, okay, the Pacers don't have that much leverage. You go ahead and make that move now in advance. But here's the thing, though. If you feel like you know Paul George is coming, I mean, do you make a jump at Jimmy Butler, or do you play your cards to see if you can get LeBron James? Because I think you try and get LeBron James. Like, maybe we talk about that Jimmy Butler thing a little bit later, but if you got a chance for LeBron James, then you trying to get LeBron James. Simple as that. All right, 888-729-3776. That is our telephone number. We got one more hour of the right time. The NBA draft is tomorrow night, you know. We're getting ready for all the suits and everything else, but we're going to talk to our man, Jay Williams of ESPN. Ask him which of these guards he's really feeling in the draft on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, SiriusXM Channel 80.
Thanks for listening to the Right Time Podcast. Please come back tomorrow for more. And don't forget to listen to The Right Time with Bomani Jones from 4 p.m. to 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.